For the last few weeks, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have been in strong corrections. The main question is, do we see another high? Have we already seen the bull market top, or are we going to see another rally to, for example, $120,000, $130,000? In this video, I want to share with you the Elliott Wave structures, but also I want to show you an indicator you probably haven't seen before. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another Bitcoin market update by MCO. And today we want to take a look at the Bitcoin chart from an Elliott Wave point of view. So I want to share with you my idea around the current market sentiment, what the current perspective is on Bitcoin with regards to, do we see another all-time high? Do we see an all-time high? Has the bull market already topped? Are we already in a bear market? A lot of people are fearful. I can tell you that back in December, January, a lot of people were hoping for a pullback. They were hoping for a correction. Now it's there. But isn't it funny how market sentiment can change? And people, when that pullback is finally there, they don't want to buy anymore. And that's quite interesting how demand suddenly then also disappears when the price is actually much lower. So interesting how fear and greed work. So in this video, I want to share with you not only the Elliott Wave count, but also I want to share with you an indicator that indicates we could find a low in the current price region, and it might be an indicator that you haven't seen before because it's not so widely known. But so I would say let's take a look at that indicator right now, and it is one from Glassnode. I mean, when I do my Elliott Wave counts and I look at price charts, I'm using the Elliott Wave structures, the rules and guidelines that define market structure to come up with my Elliott Wave counts. But specifically when we are in very, very important phases of the market, key pivots, key support areas, or close to all-time highs, or we are at an all-time high, and the wave count already suggests we might be close to topping in a major bullish run, which has been my view that we could be very, very close to a bull market top. I've been warning about that already in December, November, and the market then has dipped into my support area. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes, but especially then I'm considering other indicators as well. I do observe them always in the background, but I don't always show them in the videos. Now today, this is one which is called the short-term on-chain cost basis band. So how does that work? And it is not so complicated. I try to make it as really simple as possible. I mean, these are kind of statistical bands developed by Glassnode. And what they show is, so you see here in blue, it's the short-term holder realized price. I try to explain it as simple as possible. What you can see is that this blue kind of average, you could say it's an average, that blue realized price. Well, that indicates what the current, you could say, average is that the short-term holders, so really short-term traders, recent investors, people who acquired, who bought Bitcoin recently, what their kind of average cost is, the average price. So the problem is when the Bitcoin price drops significantly below this level, it leads to a lot of panic selling, right? So up here, they were all in profit. So there was a lot of euphoria, people were buying, everybody's in a good mood, greed, we looked at the fear and greed indicator back then, and it showed extreme greed, and so on. And then, sideways consolidation, the price dropped below it. So that means the majority of these people is actually at a loss. So they had to sell at a loss when you see it here, I make it a little larger, when the price actually drops below this blue line. Now we are significantly below it. And there is a lower band, which is just statistically developed by Glassnode. And the idea is obviously, if we break below these lines, below the blue line, it means, selling and panic selling, especially because at some point they have to realize their loss. Now, when we get into certain areas, and we know that, Glassnode know that from experience, and they show that with this indicator, then at some point these sellers get exhausted, right? And there's this lower band which has previously acted as support. So let's zoom out again. Here. So specifically down here in August, this has acted as support. And it's funny because today I thought about, the current price development kind of reminds me of what happened in August. What happened in August, the sentiment was quite similar. there was a bit of fear. Yeah, back then it was also a so-called wave 4 correction. So it's just quite interesting. And yeah, at the time, the market found support here at this lower band, and we are not there yet. Okay, that lower band is positioned around $71,000 to $72,000. So technically speaking, there's no need to test that level, but there could be, or we could test that level, and if we test it, it could lead to a bounce. Now, before that, we had, the price touched that level before, and that was here in 2022. So it's not reached or touched very often. So when we get close to that level, it is quite significant. Yeah, and that's just interesting because it means that a lot of short-term holders are currently at a loss, and at some point they had to, basically at some point they had to sell to realize their loss, because it's all related to liquidations, and at some point people just have to cut their losses, right? And it's just, you get to that point where a lot of sellers get exhausted, and then at some point, this is typically an opportunity. So that's the point. These, especially the lower area here, the closer we are to that lower band, the closer we are, the more there is an opportunity for buyers, for new buyers to step in. But so far, the buyers haven't really stepped in yet. And that can be explained by the Bitcoin chart. So if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, this is the daily time frame, obviously. So from an Elliott Wave point of view, we discussed it before, we're likely in a fourth wave correction. So you see, this was a third wave price top. It was in December. We're now likely in a fourth wave correction. It is very similar to what we did back in August, as I just explained. Very similar. It's a 3-wave move down. There was also like a final capitulation phase, which could very well happen this time as well. That's essentially what those bands tell us, right? From that chart I just showed you, there could be that final capitulation, which could take the price down to maybe 75 or even 69K. Now, it is interesting because this band that I showed you, the lower band, is around 71K, it's positioned around 71K. It's very close here, not only to the golden ratio level, you've got these two Fibonacci levels, which are relevant for a wave 4 correction where the price could find support. If we get another low, which is not guaranteed, but I think likely. And in addition to that, why didn't the buyer step in? Well, you can see that there is this kind of deficiency on the so-called VRVP indicator. You can also have a heat map. It's the same thing. It just shows there is not much support in this region, right? So price rallied, people bought it, bought very quickly. And then there was even a CME gap, which could close. These gaps, they often close. The price came back to that level now, but still we haven't reached this previous, you could say, the area where previously there was a lot of support and buyers actually stepped in with a lot of volume. There was more volume. That's what that VRVP actually is. It shows you historically at which price was a lot of volume. And this starts again around 71 to 72K here in this area. Okay, there's a spike at 67. There's no need to test that spike, especially because there are Fibonacci support levels above. But this area around 71, 72K, it aligns very well with that lower boundary of that, or that lower band of that indicator. So what I'm trying to say is, it's quite likely we might get another low. I mean, when you watch the video, maybe it already happened. I don't know. There's no need for another low. I just want to share with you from a daily chart point of view. Look, there is another indicator that has worked in the past, and it is showing us where the price can ideally find some support, where the buyers could step in because the sellers are getting exhausted. And we can use indicators like that together with our wave analysis to understand where are ideally the areas where the buyers could step in. So we get some confluence. So let me hide that VRVP indicator. So Elliott Wave obviously tells us a lot about market sentiment. So in a wave 4, there's a lot of uncertainty. You get lots of fake outs. There is some fear as well, even though normally in a wave 2, you have more fear. But then again, it's complicated in crypto because you've got a lot of altcoins, which when Bitcoin is in a correction, they sell off strongly. So there's a lot of fear related to them as well. Bitcoin itself is still holding support. We are here also moving in these kind of price channels. These can potentially, when we break above these trend lines, also indicate a low has formed. For now, we're still printing lower lows, lower highs, and I find another low quite likely. And as I said, if that happens, 75 to 69K could be where the price finds support. And then there are two scenarios I'm watching. The first one is this is just a corrective rally and we sell off even further, potentially heading into a very, very large correction, maybe even bear market, which will depend on the stock market to a degree probably as well. Yeah. Or let's rather say the sentiment in the stock market and the crypto sector is very, very similar at the moment. So they kind of move together. I don't want to suggest it's the stock market that determines Bitcoin. It's more like the same sentiment at the moment. Now, in another scenario, which is the one that I personally prefer, it is the scenario in which we have an A wave to the upside, a B wave down, and a C wave up. I just still see a lot of indicators that suggest that we could see another high. The typical top indicators, they haven't shown us a signal yet. Also here from an Elliott Wave point of view, another high is quite likely. I can make a case for another high. Also from a market sentiment point of view, what you often get when there is really a bull market top, you often get a lot of people who say, we can't go down anymore. Yeah, the price goes straight to 200K, 250. We haven't had that yet. You always get the few people, but it's not like I remember back in 2021 when the Elliott Waves suggested quite early actually in the process of bear market when it started. Most people were still like, no, it can't go, it can never go down anymore. Sentiment was different, but okay, I mentioned that before because we are here in a larger degree wave 5, not anymore in a wave 3 as we were in 2021. So sentiment is generally different anyway. But yeah, I mean, overall, for me, there is still more that suggests that we go and reach another high than that would suggest we go down, okay? But that can change very, very quickly. If you watch my previous videos, then you know that I believe we're very, very close to a major top, and we could have topped already. These are the two likely scenarios. What will it depend on? It will, so either way, in both scenarios, I'm watching for a low to form in this current price region, watching for a rally from this region, maybe in the next few weeks, and then we could get to 90, maybe 100K. In this area, there should be a decision, because in this area, the market will likely decide whether we get a corrective pullback and rally further, or whether this is it and we break down. So we have to pay very close attention in the coming weeks to that structure to the upside and the subsequent pullback. And yeah, if you subscribe and follow here, then we will do that together. I'll keep you updated. That's the update about Bitcoin. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and also make sure that you activate the notification bell if you want to know more about crypto, if you want to check out Elliott Wave structures, rapid market updates. Also, yeah, check out our MCO membership for the crypto sector. A lot of analysis, nearly 24 hours a day. You get access to Tradingview live charts and a lot of additional learning content, weekly live streams, and so on. It is linked in the description. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.